Do you know what the most dangerous phrase in the English language is? It is not a curse word. It is not an insult. It is two simple words that almost every single person says multiple times a day without even thinking about it. Thank you. That is right. The way you have been saying thank you your entire life is actually blocking every blessing that is trying to reach you. And I know that sounds absolutely insane right now. I know you are sitting there thinking, how can saying thank you possibly be a bad thing? But stay with me, because what I am about to reveal to you comes from over 40 years of studying the deepest teachings of the Talmud and Kabbalah. This is wisdom that was passed down to me directly from my grandfather, who was a rabbi in Jerusalem, and his grandfather before him, who preserved these teachings through some of the darkest periods in Jewish history. 7 generations of rabbinical wisdom flow through my family, and today I am going to share one of the most powerful secrets we have guarded for centuries. Here is what you need to understand right now. There is a specific way that gratitude is supposed to work according to ancient Jewish law. There is a spiritual mechanism, a divine technology, if you will, that governs how blessings flow into your life. And when you say thank you the wrong way, you are not just being polite. You are actually telling the universe that you are done receiving. You are closing a door that was wide open. You are rejecting abundance that was literally seconds away from manifesting in your life. By the end of this video, you will know the exact Jewish method of expressing gratitude that multiplies your blessings instead of blocking them. I will teach you the precise words, the specific intention, and the ancient practice that transforms a simple thank you into a blessing magnet. And the technique I will reveal later in this teaching is so powerful that people who apply it correctly start seeing shifts within 24 to 48 hours. Not weeks, not months, days. But you need to watch until the very end, because each piece builds on the last. And if you miss even one element, the entire practice falls apart. This is not something you can skip through. This is sacred knowledge, and it demands your full attention. I learned this secret when I was 19 years old. It was the evening after Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. My grandfather called me into his study. I remember the room smelled like old books and candle wax. He had this massive wooden desk covered in ancient texts, some of them handwritten manuscripts that had been in our family for generations. He looked at me with those deep, knowing eyes, and he said something I will never forget. He said, "The way the world gives thanks is an insult to the Creator. They say thank you, and they close their hands. We say thank you, and we open our hands wider." At 19, I did not fully grasp what he meant. But then he opened a passage from the Talmud and showed me something that completely changed the way I understood gratitude, abundance, and the flow of blessings. He explained that in ancient Jewish tradition, gratitude was never a closing statement. It was never a period at the end of a sentence. Gratitude was always an opening. It was a door, not a wall. And the way most people express thanks, they turn it into a wall without even realizing it. Everything I am teaching you in this video is only the beginning. If you are serious about applying these ancient Jewish wealth principles to your life, I wrote a book called The Ancient Wealth Code. It contains the complete system, all 10 principles that Jewish families have used for 3,000 years to build, protect, and pass down wealth from generation to generation. This is not theory. This is the exact playbook. It is available right now in the description below and pinned in the first comment. Go get your copy today because knowledge without action is worthless. The first time I truly understood the power of this was about 3 years later. I was 22, freshly married, and I was struggling financially in ways that embarrassed me. I had studied Torah my entire life. I knew the teachings. I understood the principles intellectually. But my bank account did not reflect any of that wisdom. I had tried budgeting. I had tried working longer hours. I had tried positive thinking and visualization and every modern self-help technique that was popular at the time. Nothing moved the needle. Then one evening, In complete desperation, I remembered what my grandfather had taught me about the Jewish way of gratitude. I decided to apply it exactly as he had shown me, not my version of it, not my interpretation, the exact method, word for word, step by step. And within 48 hours, something shifted. A business opportunity appeared out of nowhere. A debt that I owed was unexpectedly forgiven. A family member I had not spoken to in years called me and offered to help me get started in a new venture. 3 events in 48 hours. That was not coincidence. That was the activation of a spiritual law that had been operating for 3,000 years. And that is when I knew with absolute certainty that this was not just philosophy. This was real, practical, life-changing power. Now you might be wondering, why does this work? What is the mechanism behind it? The Talmud teaches that the universe operates on spiritual laws that are just as real and just as consistent as the law of gravity. You do not see gravity, but you know it is there because you experience its effects every single moment of your life. Spiritual laws work the same way. The ancient rabbis spent thousands of years studying these laws, testing them, refining their understanding, and documenting their findings in sacred texts. They discovered that gratitude is not just an emotion. Gratitude is an energy. It is a frequency, and the way you express that frequency determines whether you attract more blessings or repel them. When you align yourself with the correct frequency of gratitude, you are not fighting against the current of life anymore. You are flowing with it, and that is when everything begins to change. If you are ready to activate this ancient wisdom in your life right now, write in the comments, "I open my hands to receive." Do it right now. I read every single comment, and I want to see thousands of declarations below this video. Write it now before we continue. Now let me tell you exactly what is going wrong and why you have been struggling. I know what you are feeling right now because I have sat with thousands of people over the past 4 decades who felt exactly the same way. You wake up every morning with this heaviness in your chest. You work harder than most people around you. You are not lazy. You are not stupid. You are not irresponsible. But somehow, no matter what you do, the money runs out before the month does. The opportunities seem to go to everyone else. The breakthroughs you pray for never quite materialize. And the worst part is that you are doing everything the world tells you to do. You are showing up. You are grinding. You are being grateful. You are saying thank you to every person, every situation, every small blessing. And yet nothing changes. Let me tell you why. The entire system of gratitude that the modern world teaches you is fundamentally broken. It is backwards. It is upside down. And it is actually working against you every single day. Here is what happens when you say thank you the conventional way. You receive something, a paycheck, a gift, a kind word, an opportunity, and you say thank you. Done. Transaction complete. You received, you acknowledged, you closed the loop. But here is what the Talmud teaches about that exact moment. When you close the loop of gratitude, you are sending a signal to the universe that says, I am satisfied. I have enough. Stop sending. You are essentially putting a cap on your blessings. You are telling the divine flow of abundance that you have reached your limit. And the universe, because it respects your free will, it listens. It stops sending. I see this pattern destroy people's financial lives all the time. Someone gets a raise, and they say thank you, and they feel satisfied. Blessing capped. Someone receives an unexpected gift, and they say thank you, and they move on. Blessing capped. Someone lands a new client or a new job, and they say thank you, and they celebrate. Blessing capped. Every single time they are shutting the door on more, and they wonder why the flow never increases. They wonder why they always seem to plateau. They wonder why no matter how grateful they feel, their circumstances never dramatically improve. The Talmud says that a vessel that declares itself full cannot receive another drop. Read that again. A vessel that declares itself full cannot receive another drop. That is exactly what conventional gratitude does. It declares you full. It tells the universe you are done, and the flow stops. Now here is the lie you have been told. The world tells you that being grateful means being satisfied with what you have, that wanting more is greedy, that you should just be happy with your lot in life and stop asking for more. That is one of the most destructive lies ever told to humanity. The ancient rabbis taught the exact opposite. They taught that desire is divine, that wanting more is not greed. It is your soul recognizing that there is more available to you. The difference between greed and divine desire is intention. Greed says, I want more for myself at the expense of others. Divine desire says, I want more so that I can serve more, give more, and become more of who I was created to be. Jewish tradition teaches that the Creator placed infinite abundance in this world. Infinite. There is no shortage. There is no limit. The only limitation is in how much you are willing to receive. And the way you express gratitude determines how much the universe believes you are willing to receive. I have personally witnessed this truth transform every kind of person imaginable. I have seen single mothers go from barely making rent to owning their own businesses within a year. I have seen retired men who thought their best days were behind them suddenly discover opportunities that revitalize their entire lives. I have seen young people in their 20s build wealth that their parents never dreamed of, and in every single case, the transformation began when they changed the way they said thank you. Now I am going to reveal the exact method. This comes directly from Kabbalistic teaching, specifically from interpretations of the Zohar that my grandfather studied with his teacher in Jerusalem over 60 years ago. This is not something you will find in any self-help book. This is not a repackaged version of the law of attraction. This is ancient Jewish wisdom that predates every modern success philosophy by thousands of years. But before I show you the steps, I need you to understand something critical. This is not a game. This is not a casual exercise. When you change the way you express gratitude according to these ancient laws, you are literally rewiring the spiritual circuitry of your life. Real energy begins to move, real doors begin to open, and real blessings begin to flow, but only if you follow every step exactly as I teach it. Do not modify it. Do not add your own twist. Do not skip anything because it seems too simple or too strange. This method has worked for 3,000 years because it is precise. It is designed with divine engineering, and every element serves a specific purpose. Let me explain why this approach is different from anything else you have tried. First, it operates at the spiritual level, not just the emotional level. Most gratitude practices are just about feeling good. This practice is about activating a spiritual law. Second, it uses specific words and intentions that have been tested and refined by generations of rabbis. These are not affirmations someone made up last year. Third, it requires your active participation. You are not just sitting around hoping for blessings. You are actively creating the conditions for blessings to flow. Fourth, the results come fast, usually within 24 to 48 hours for the first signs. And fifth, it works for anyone. You do not need to be Jewish. You do not need any special training or background. You just need to follow the instructions. The Talmud teaches that the gates of heaven open for the one whose gratitude carries the fragrance of tomorrow. This is the foundation of everything I am about to show you. When your gratitude carries the energy of expectation, of openness, of readiness for more, the universe recognizes that you are a vessel that is prepared to receive, and a prepared vessel always gets filled. Here is how you prepare yourself before you begin. Choose a time when you will not be interrupted. The ideal time is early morning, right as you wake up, before you eat or drink anything. Your mind is clearest at this time, and your spiritual channels are most open. Make sure you are in a calm state. If you are angry, if you are anxious, if you are distracted by something that happened the night before, take a few minutes to breathe and settle your mind. The energy you bring to this practice matters enormously. Set your intention clearly before you begin. Know exactly what you want to open yourself to. Vague intentions create vague results. Specific intentions create specific miracles. And finally, trust the process completely. Even if certain elements seem unusual or overly simple, follow them exactly. Remember, this has worked for thousands of years for millions of people. It will work for you too. Here is what you need. The first element is a glass of clean water. Water in Kabbalah represents the flow of divine mercy and abundance. It is called chesed in Hebrew, which means loving kindness. Water is the most receptive substance on earth. It takes the shape of whatever container holds it. It absorbs energy. It carries intention. The ancient rabbis discovered that water has the ability to hold spiritual frequency. When you use water in this practice, you are creating a physical vessel for the spiritual energy of gratitude. I have seen water used this way produce results that would stagger you. I have seen people hold a glass of water with the right intention and experience financial breakthroughs within days. This is not superstition. This is applied Kabbalistic science. Use a clear glass, not plastic. Fill it with clean water. Filtered is ideal, but tap water will work if that is what you have. The second element is a small piece of bread. Bread in Jewish tradition represents sustenance, provision, and the material blessings of life. The Hebrew word for bread, lechem, shares a root with the word for war, milchama. This teaches us that sustenance requires spiritual effort, spiritual engagement. When you include bread in this practice, you are acknowledging that physical provision comes from a spiritual source. You are connecting the material to the divine. A small piece is sufficient. It does not need to be any specific type of bread. The third element is a candle. Light in Kabbalah represents divine wisdom and the soul itself. The Talmud teaches that the soul of a person is the candle of God. When you light a candle during this practice, you are inviting divine presence into the moment. You are creating a bridge between the physical world and the spiritual world. Use a simple white candle, nothing fancy, nothing scented, just a plain white candle that burns cleanly. The fourth element is your own voice. This is the most important element of all. Your voice carries your unique spiritual frequency. No one else in the history of creation has your exact vocal signature. When you speak words of gratitude with the correct intention, your voice becomes a tool of creation. The ancient rabbis taught that God created the world with speech. When you speak with intention, you are participating in that same creative power. You do not need a beautiful voice. You do not need to be loud. You just need to be sincere. Now, here is the exact procedure. Step 1. Place the glass of water, the piece of bread, and the unlit candle on a table or surface in front of you. Sit comfortably. Take 3 deep breaths. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more present, more grounded, more aware. Step 2. Light the candle. As you light it, say these words either out loud or quietly to yourself. I invite the light of the Creator into this moment. I open myself to wisdom, to abundance, and to divine guidance. As you say this, visualize the flame growing brighter and filling the entire room with warm, golden light. See that light surrounding you, penetrating your body, filling every cell. Step 3. Pick up the glass of water with both hands. Hold it at the level of your heart. This is important because the heart is the seat of intention in Kabbalistic teaching. Now, instead of saying thank you for what you have already received, I want you to say something very different. Say this: I give thanks for what has already come, and I give thanks for what is still on its way to me. I declare that my vessel is open. I declare that I am ready to receive more. I am not full. I am expanding. My capacity for blessing grows with every breath I take. Feel those words in your chest. Feel them vibrating through the water in your hands. The water is absorbing your intention right now. It is being programmed with the frequency of open, expanding, unlimited gratitude. Step 4. Take a small sip of the water. As you drink, visualize the water carrying that frequency of open gratitude into your body, into your bloodstream, into every organ, every tissue, every cell. You are literally infusing yourself with the energy of receptivity. Step 5. Pick up the piece of bread. Hold it in your right hand. The right hand represents the column of mercy and giving in Kabbalah. Say these words: "This bread represents the abundance of the Creator, which has no limit and no end. As I eat this bread, I accept that I am worthy of receiving more than I have ever received before. I release every belief that tells me I should be satisfied with less than what the Creator wants to give me." Eat the bread slowly. Chew it deliberately. With every bite, feel yourself releasing the old pattern of capped gratitude. Feel yourself opening to a new way of receiving. Step 6. Now close your eyes and sit quietly for 2 full minutes. During this time, I want you to visualize your life as you want it to be. Not as it is now, as you want it to be. See the abundance, see the opportunities, see the relationships, see the health, see the peace, see all of it as if it is already real. And as you see it, feel gratitude for it. Not past tense gratitude, present tense gratitude. Thank you that this is happening. Thank you that this is unfolding. Thank you that more is coming. Step 7. Open your eyes and say one final declaration. My gratitude is not a closing door. My gratitude is an open window. Blessings flow to me continuously, abundantly, and without end. I receive them all with an open heart and open hands. Then blow out the candle gently. As the smoke rises, visualize your intention rising to the heavens, being carried to the source of all blessings. Now here is what you can expect after completing this practice. Within the first 24 hours, you may feel a lightness in your chest, a sense of peace that you have not felt in a long time. Some people describe it as a weight being lifted. Others say they feel a tingling sensation in their hands or a warmth in their heart center. These are all signs that the energy is activating, that the old patterns of blocked gratitude are beginning to dissolve. Within 3 to 7 days, you should start seeing tangible results. This could be an unexpected check in the mail, a phone call with a surprising opportunity, a debt being forgiven or reduced, a new client appearing seemingly out of nowhere. Pay close attention to everything that happens during this period. Pay attention to coincidences, to random conversations, to ideas that pop into your head at unusual times. The universe communicates in subtle ways, and you need to be listening. Within 30 days, the full transformation should be evident. Your financial situation will have shifted noticeably. New streams of income or opportunity will have appeared. And most importantly, you will feel different. You will feel open in a way you have never felt before. But now I need to give you some critical warnings, and please do not skip past this part. This is just as important as the ritual itself. Warning number 1. Never perform this practice with hatred or resentment in your heart. If you are angry at someone, if you are holding a grudge, if you are wishing harm on another person, do not do this practice. The Talmud teaches that a vessel with a crack cannot hold blessing. Resentment is a crack in your vessel. I learned this the hard way early in my career when I attempted a gratitude practice while harboring anger toward a colleague. Not only did it not work, but things actually got worse for about 2 weeks, until I addressed the resentment and started over. Warning number 2. Do not tell anyone about your practice for the first 7 days. This is crucial. When you share a spiritual practice before it has taken root, you dissipate the energy. You scatter the intention. Keep it between you and the Creator for the first 7 days. After that, You can share with trusted people if you choose. I have seen countless people ruin their results by excitedly telling friends and family immediately after their first session. The energy needs time to consolidate before it can withstand outside scrutiny and doubt. Warning number 3. Do not perform this practice and then immediately contradict it with your words. If you do this practice in the morning and then spend the rest of the day complaining about how broke you are, how unfair life is, how nothing ever works out for you, you are cancelling everything. Your words throughout the day must be consistent with the intention you set in the morning. The Talmud is very clear on this. It says that the tongue has the power of life and death. Your words after the practice matter just as much as your words during it. Use this method wisely. Use it with pure intention, and use it exactly as I have taught you. Let me share something deeper with you. The Talmud teaches that every act of genuine gratitude creates what the rabbis called a spiritual echo. This echo reverberates through the spiritual realms and returns to you multiplied. But here is the key distinction. Closed gratitude, the kind that says thank you and stops, creates a single echo that fades quickly. Open gratitude, the kind I just taught you, creates a continuous echo, a resonance that keeps reverberating and keeps returning blessings to you without end. When I first studied this concept with my grandfather, I struggled with it. It felt wrong to always want more. I had been taught by the secular world that wanting more was greedy, that contentment meant stopping. But my grandfather showed me passage after passage in the sacred texts that revealed the opposite truth. The Creator does not want you to stop receiving. The Creator wants you to expand your capacity to receive. Your job is not to put a ceiling on your blessings. Your job is to keep building higher walls so you can hold more. I will be honest with you. There was a period in my mid-30s when I went through a financial crisis so severe that I nearly lost everything. My teaching practice had dried up. My savings were gone. I was 3 months behind on every bill. I knew these teachings. I had studied them my entire life, but I had fallen into the trap of closed gratitude without even realizing it. I had been saying thank you like a period instead of a comma. I was capping my own blessings with every expression of satisfaction. When I finally recognized what I was doing and returned to the practice exactly as my grandfather had taught me, everything changed within 2 weeks. A speaking invitation came that led to a series of teachings that transformed my entire career. A book deal appeared that I had never sought. Connections formed that opened doors I did not even know existed. Over the past 40 years, I have taught this exact method to thousands of people around the world. I have seen business owners triple their revenue in a single quarter. I have seen families break generational cycles of poverty that had persisted for decades. I have seen individuals go from absolute financial desperation to stability and abundance in ways that defied every logical explanation. And in every single case, the transformation began the moment they stopped saying thank you like a wall and started saying it like a door. They did not modify the practice. They did not skip steps. They did not try to improve upon 3,000 years of refined wisdom. They simply trusted and followed. Here is why this teaching matters more right now than perhaps any other time in recent history. We are living in a period of extraordinary economic uncertainty. Inflation continues to squeeze families around the world. Markets are volatile. Jobs that once seemed secure are being eliminated by technology faster than anyone predicted. Just this year alone, we have seen massive layoffs across industries that were supposed to be recession-proof. Housing costs continue to climb beyond what ordinary people can afford. The economic anxiety in the world right now is unlike anything I have seen in my lifetime. And the old methods, the conventional approaches to building security, they are failing people on a massive scale. But these ancient Jewish principles do not depend on economic conditions. They do not depend on interest rates or government policies or stock market performance. They operate on universal spiritual laws that transcend all of that. When everything around you is chaos, these principles are your anchor. When the world tells you there is nothing you can do, these methods prove otherwise. This is why Jewish communities have survived and thrived through literally thousands of years of persecution, exile, economic collapse, and every other conceivable hardship. Not because of luck, not because of some genetic advantage, because of these exact spiritual principles being applied